Hey, Joe.
So, Bevan, working from home today?
I am working from home today. Yourself?
Yeah, you and me both. You get to see me in my back brace thingy today.
Oh my goodness. What what happened?
I got rear-ended.
Oh geez.
Yeah, a
Little whiplash?
lot of whiplash. Yeah.
Dude, how fast are
Uh,
you going? How fast are they
I
going?
was I was at a stop. The person that hit me was estimated going 20 25. They were texting, driving, dropped their phone, reached down to get it, didn't even see that I was stopped in front of them, so never braked or nothing.
No way. Were you
Yeah.
on like the service streets or
I was on Shay in there in Scottsdale.
oh my goodness. How's the car?
Um, it's seen better days. Like I give it a 50-50 shot if it gets
Total?
totaled or not. Yeah, we'll
That's
see.
Hey
Hi,
Hazel.
Hazel.
So, how are you today?
Living the dream.
Doing good. Doing good. Just getting some life updates from Joe. But other than that.
Yeah. Are we waiting on
Cindy? Yes.
yes, Cindy? Was anyone else going to join?
I think it's Stephanie
Herbert?
joining as well, but let
Okay,
me call her or text her.
sounds good.
Lo que hace, le da la instrucción. Ah, que tenemos otro piso.
Joe, when do you find out about your car?
I'm taking it to the shop right after we get off this call. So they've given like the initial estimate or whatever based on the police report and the pictures and stuff, but they have to actually like look it over in person, the collision center thing. So we'll see.
Still drivable, obviously, if you can take it in.
Yeah, it's drivable. It's pretty sure the cameras in the back need to be changed out, but like you can drive it. Yeah,
All right. Not ideal, but we'll definitely work.
it works. They'll give me a rental car while it's being fixed or whatever, so can't complain too much.
Nice. I got rear-ended, heck, I don't know, it was probably a year ago or whatnot. And they gave me just the most obnoxious Dodge Challenger. So it was pretty fun to have, but it was like I look like that guy.
I could see you in the Dodge Challenger revving it up in the parking lot and stuff. I could see that.
Yeah, that was me. That was me.
Was Cindy gonna be able to join us, Hazel?
Yes, she's joining right now.
Perfect. What about is it? I may be mispronouncing it. Herbert? Am I mispronouncing his name?
He's no longer with us.
Okay, never mind. Ignore that question. While we wait, Hazel, or did you have any initial questions from everything that we talked about on Monday?
Um, yes. I reviewed with Cindy a couple of projects and we were adding manually the hours for the guys that didn't clock in properly.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a couple of questions.
All right. If you want to throw your screen up and we can look at them together while we wait on Cindy. By the way, you know Evan. I don't have to introduce him. But we also have Justin on as well, who's shadowing recently onboarded new team member. So Justin, this is Hazel. Cindy will be joining us as well here shortly from Prime Landscaping up in Park City, Utah. How much snow is on the ground in Utah right now? I'm curious.
So I know they went to plow today, but not that much, actually.
Really?
Not like last year.
I was gonna say, I thought last year, like y'all got like a massive snowstorm the week leading up to Thanksgiving, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we did. The guys went and plowed like 2 or 3 times, I remember. Per day.
Wow. They get to enjoy the Thanksgiving holiday this time.
Yeah.
Are you able to share your screen?
Yes, I am just
Perfect.
sure I have the recording here.
Got it. No worries.
En lo que pasa es que yo te garantizo que si miráramos ese plano en cada desarrolla el protocolo. No tendría que estar así.
I am trying to pull up here a specific day where I had questions. Let me try to find it here, that way we can elaborate on it.
Okay. See Sydney's joining us now.
¿Sí, Cindy? No, aquí estamos. No, we're waiting for you. Well, we see you here in the meeting. Just have your camera turned off. Yes. Not in the meeting. I think that's something wrong with. Okay, you're connecting to the audio right now. Okay, Joe, so this is the review that we had from yesterday. And I was just curious if there's a way that we could like remove one person from here. Because
Yeah,
let's-
so so did he not work on this crew? Or at least
No,
not that day?
he's not working with that crew anymore.
Okay.
per se.
So in order to just take him off of this particular day, we would just take his time off. So the green box on his row, this is 9.25, click it. So it turns back to 0. After you save it, which looks like there's some more changes we need to make, he will be removed because he'll have no time. As long as he doesn't have any green boxes in his column, oh, there's a couple there, then he'll be removed. Now to remove him entirely from the crew, we would need to do that under the crew leader in the routes management section, which we can do together here in a minute. So it
And
just depends on if he like called in for the day or if he completely changed from one crew to a different crew.
yeah, he was in another crew. And I was just like, I don't know if I should remove him entirely from here and I will just like, mess up the other hours. But now I removed all the green boxes here. So,
There must be one more because we still have, he's got a red box around his total at the top where it says different. So there's got to be something else goofy going on. There it is. There's got to be at least one more. There it is, 0.13. Now he's at 0. It probably is not going to let you save the screen yet because we do have a lot of other differences that are highlighted for the other crew members. Can you scroll to the very top? I believe there's one more row, the clock 1 row, the top, all the way up. So let's just walk kind of through this logically because we have 11 rows of clock time. And it doesn't look like all of those are legit. So if we start at the top, 0, 0, 0 as a start time, what time is that of the day? What time would that be? Like if you were looking at a clock, what time would that be?
well,
12 a.m. or
But-
p.m.
I don't think it's totally accurate from him or from this clock number 1. There's
Yeah, I doubt it,
it's
right?
let's see.
Unless he truly worked from midnight to 6:15 in the morning, Raphael, then that time's not right. And what that's telling us is that he did not clock out the previous day. So the previous day it would have auto clocked him out at 11:59, and then on the next day it auto clocks him back in at midnight because he didn't clock out. Aspire would automatically do that until there's some clock out, either by the employee or by whomever's looking at this. So the behavior of clocking out every day by the crews is still something that we need to really enforce. Because I think like every ticket we've looked at so far, that's been a problem,
Yes.
right? And until we fix that problem, I'm just going to say it about as bluntly as I can. Y'all's job is going to be exceptionally difficult.
Yes.
And unless you want to be doing this, not only for all the team members you have today, but as you forward think and forecast in the future and you scale your business, you're going to have more crews and more team members. We don't figure out a way to kind of correct that behavior. This is going to become an insurmountable task to try to fix every single day.
Yes.
Okay. So that was I'll get off my soapbox for a moment. But if we need to remove that, which is that true? We need to remove that midnight to 6:15 in the morning time. Okay, so we're like we did Monday, we're just going to delete those boxes. So hit the backspace. You're going to need it for the lunch as well. So now it says 0 all the way across the board for that. So after we save in a minute, that row will be removed. Along with Jose that we deleted all the timeout for. Those are automatically going to be deleted after you hit save. But let's double check the rest of the time. So we have 2 team members, if I'm reading clock number 2, that showed up at 6 in the morning, worked until 5:15 at night, and took a half-hour lunch. Those people being Jamie and Luis. Do you follow my logic there? Okay. And is that accurate?
Cindy, did they work from 6 a.m.? 5:15 yesterday.
If you're talking, I think you might be muted, Cindy. We can't hear you. We'll circle back if we need to fix the time, we can. Next one on clock 3, we have a different person, Raphael, that showed up at 6:15 and left at 7:30. So he was there for an hour and 15 minutes and took a half-hour lunch. That sounds weird to me.
Me as well.
Like the next several kind of look just weird. We have a different person showing up at 6:45, leaving at 7:30, a different nobody from 7:30 to 7:30 twice. So those will get removed. And then we have 2 different crew members showing up at 7:30 to 5:15, and a different crew member that has clock time on 2 separate rows from 7:45 until midnight. So here's a whole nother that person didn't clock out thing. But is that how this crew operates? That like the crew leader and one person shows up and then some other crew member shows up at 6:15, a different one shows up at 6:45, a different one shows up at 7:30. Is that like actually how this crew operates?
No, Joe, it's probably they didn't clock in the way they were supposed to be doing that every day, because it has to be immediately. As soon as the crew leader clocks in, then he hands the tablet to the rest of the team, and it should be around the same time. In
Okay.
case another crew shows to the work site and starts helping the first crew, it has to be also within the same time. So
Mhm.
let's say 3 of them needed to have the same amount of hours. Let's say they were helping for 4 hours. So
Right.
we will be able to see here the same exact start time and same end time. So this is one of the jobs that I saw that were like completely messed up. So my question here, it's easier for me to just like remove everything here and add everything from 0.
Considering the mass chaos that is the clock time, start time, it probably is best to delete everything and start over. Generally speaking, I'm not a fan of that. Because even if there was one time that they actually clocked in or clocked out, by you deleting that time, it's going to remove that punch and it takes away kind of the accountability level. But in this particular scenario where there's 11 rows of time for 6 different people, and one of them really isn't even on the crew, so really 5 people, that's very difficult to fix 11 times over. So yes is the short answer to your question. I would throw it back to y'all though on like, if the crew leader is supposed to be handing that tablet or that phone, it's not the crew member's fault that they didn't clock in until 7:30. It's the crew leader's fault, is how I would view that, right? My logic making sense there?
Makes sense.
If I'm the crew member and you're my crew leader and you never handed me the tablet, like, yeah, I probably should ask, like, can I clock in, please? But at the end, you're my leader. There might be a reason why you haven't done it for me yet. I may not feel comfortable to question that authority, especially if I'm newer. So the onus should fall on the crew leader.
And so we cannot do this the very same day, right? We have to wait until the job is completed.
You technically can do it same day. You can't do a future time. So if it was 5:30 and you were changing something to an end time of 5 o'clock or earlier, technically you could do that same day. The best practice though is generally the following morning.
Okay. Yeah, so we've having meetings regarding to this. Just make sure that there is accountability for the ones that are not. But you know, this already happened before, and I have like some of the projects like this with a lot of clock in and clock out. That was just,
Mhm.
I think that it's better for me to just like remove this and add them manually from the past jobs. I was just
Yeah.
trying to make sure that I don't mess up any other
Yeah,
timing.
I would agree with you, deleting and starting over. The only thing I probably wouldn't change if I were you, assuming that they're correct, is the direct job time, like the next section where they have all the tickets.
Mhm.
Yeah, that piece right there. Assuming those times are correct, like I wouldn't touch those. Because these are snow plows in a driveway, so they're probably super quick in and out type tickets. And there's a bunch of them. So you don't want to have to like redo all of that. But the thing that isn't making a ton of sense to me is these crew worked 11 hours, a little over 11 hours, subtracting out lunch. But even these like quick hitters of all of these tickets are only adding up to about 3 hours of time. So either the one of the tickets, if not multiple of the tickets, time is wrong, or there's a missing ticket, or they're like all just chilling at 7-Eleven for 7 hours a day getting paid for free. It's one of those three scenarios. Um, only y'all would know the answer to that question, but there is a major gap between what's clocked on tickets versus what total time is. So that just tells me there's something not right.
Okay.
But
And
chances are you need to fix the tickets. It's just a matter of what.
Can you guys hear me?
You sound like you're in a tunnel, but yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I've had issues with my Zoom all day. Um, so on that particular one, we are going through them right now. The project managers are here and we're going through them to try to fix them and see exactly what is going on there.
Okay.
Um,
I
did go
can't
through a
like
few of them.
enforce it enough that until y'all fix the behaviors at the cruise, y'all are like a horse or a dog chasing its tail. You're going to be spending more time trying to fix stuff than it would just be to time invest talking to the crews and get them to do the right behavior. You showed up, don't leave the yard till you clock in. I'm your project supervisor. Show me your phone before I let you leave. When you show up at the end of the day, did you clock out? You're not leaving until you clock out. And if you leave without clocking out, there's going to be a verbal warning tomorrow. And if you do it the next day, I'm going to write you up. And if you did the day after that, you stop working for me. Like at some point, we can't spend hours and hours and hours fixing every single crew's time when they just need to be managing it themselves. Like there is exceptions to that rule. Like they were in a place and Wi-Fi wasn't working or cellular reception wasn't working, and we need to fix it for them. Those are legitimate things. But like every ticket we're looking at, we're having to fix virtually every single line item, both payroll and clock time. And that just tells me that of the whatever it's been 2 or 3 weeks since we officially launched this, we haven't really established any behavior with the people that are actually supposed to be doing this. It's y'all picking up everything else. And I'm sorry, but that's not fair. And that kind of pisses me off. Be glad that your crews don't work for me because they wouldn't enjoy the conversation today. So whoever their supervisor is should have that type of conversation with them. Because I have a feeling until that happens, this is just going to continue. Because why do I need to do it if you're just going to fix it for me every time? There's no motivation for me to do it the right way at that point because somebody else is just going to fix it. Yeah, we need to fix it, but we need to fix behavior, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right. I said I was on my soapbox a while ago and I got right back on it, so my bad. But that kind of irritates me that y'all are having to do all this stuff. And it doesn't seem like one person's doing it right yet. If you have one that looks right and they actually did it, can you please show me? Because I don't make me feel bad. I would love a win. That would be awesome. Maybe, maybe. Do we have one crew that does it right? Do we? Tell me yes.
Diego wasn't too bad. Hold on.
Wasn't too bad. Okay. I'll take wasn't too bad and then was a disaster. I like that better.
Hold on.
And then I promise at some point we'll pivot over to the visit checklist, the actual agenda topic we were supposed to talk about today. I promise we will get to that.
Do we want to look at do you want to
Like,
look
show
at
me your best.
this time?
Show me your best. Let me see it.
Pull him up.
And I'll give you my honest grade. And then
Let's
I'll
see.
tell you why I grade it that way.
Let me see if this will work for me. Hold on.
Cool.
Can you see that?
It's coming up. One sec. All right. Top looks decent.
Here.
Scroll down for me. First two tickets look pretty good. Whole bunch of tickets. I see that. So they were busy.
Yeah. There's snow.
I still don't quite understand why they worked over 11 hours, but only basically 3.5 of those hours are at job sites. Like that part still just doesn't make sense to me.
So 4 hours of this is drive time to a job that we went out to, which is their last job.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
All right,
4
that makes
hours
more
of
sense
this
now.
is over here into this
Got
job.
it. That makes more sense. Okay.
And then I'm thinking the other
3 hours.
3 hours is the 30 minutes here. And then probably the in-between drive times.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense if it was a very, very far away job site.
Yeah, this one's like 2 hours away. And then I know that yesterday it probably was a little bit more because I know that when they were heading up there, a truck slid off the road. And so they had to wait for them to clear that out in order to go up the mountain.
All right.
Yeah.
So overall, I give this one like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is the top part looks great. Like the first two tickets, I believe, are perfect. And I'm going to go back to like one of our first calls together. Do you remember why it would be green, yellow, or red on the little pinholes that are to the left of on-site time? What's green mean?
Doesn't this mean like clocking the on the site and then off the site?
Did they use the device to clock in or out, depending on which time we're talking about? What's red
Right?
mean?
Please. I think it wasn't at the location. Am I right?
It's one of two things. It's either not at the location, so that tells us either the address to the job site is incorrect, and so the GPS isn't pinging properly, or the time was manually added after the fact. It wasn't actually clocked in or out on the device. So it's one of those two. We don't see one on here, but there is a third color, and it's yellow. What would yellow mean, hypothetically?
Yeah, I can't remember yellow.
Yellow means there was a time that was clocked in on or out on the device, but then someone else changed it after the fact.
Oh.
So if you ever see yellow, that's what that means. Are these tickets completed? Like, was the job finished for the
Yeah.
plows?
For that one event, yeah.
But all the rest are not done yet? Are they
No,
continuous?
it's all done. Yeah.
Okay.
These ones are
Huh.
just they're just different, like they're multiple visits.
Got it. Okay. As long as they're not, don't need to be completed, then we're good.
Yeah.
Okay.
This other one for the one at the bottom should be completed today. So,
Looks like it.
but they put it in for yesterday.
So if you were to hit save, it's going to take that 7.43 hours that are difference between clocked and work. And what does it do when you hit save?
It should split up the drive, like put it into drive time, shouldn't it?
Correct. It will evenly distributed across all the tickets that are
How
applied.
can I get it just to be the drive time for this one, since this one was the main one for the drive?
So we would need to hit one of the three dots to the right of the 1.12 hours and do add time. And then you said it was what, 3 hours? Is that like an hour and a half there and an hour and a half back?
No, so it's
Or 3 hours
I put like 2.5 hours to get there and then 2 hours to get back.
Got it. So if I'm doing the math, 2.5 hours before 12 o'clock would be about 9:30-ish. Somewhere in there. Looks like they left 9:37. So 9:37 to 12:06.
And then we'd have to do another time, right?
Yep, and you also need to click the boxes for each of the employees so that time is attached. Here you go. And then they left at 3:13 and you said 2 hours, so about 5:13. Right? Give or take.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
Wait, that's 4 hours. So it'd be 15:13, right? And click out of that box, and now you can click those two. So now the difference is only 3 hours, or a little less than 3 hours. And if you hit save, those 3 hours, it would then be evenly distributed across those, however many tickets that is.
I would do like
Don't forget to hit the boxes for each of the employees when you add time. So that shop time that you just did,
mhm.
boom, boom. So now it's 2.62. So now if you hit save, it's gonna divide those out evenly. There you go. So now you got 0.03 drive time per ticket. So 0.05, it's based on how much time is actually spent at the ticket. So if you were at one job site slightly longer than another, it's going to give it slightly more time to the one that you were at slightly longer. So
Okay.
it's weighted based on time.
But then this one, it adds another hour on there.
Because the total time you have is significantly longer than the 15 to 45 minutes you're spending at the other tickets. Just like anything else, it's editable, so you can change that. You just have to make sure that the, balances. So if you take whatever, an hour off of that, we need to add an hour somewhere else, either once or multiple times, but the difference needs to be 0, or it's just going to add more drive time back on again when you hit save, if there's any difference at all.
Is there any way that okay.
We can change that as a setting in admin, later on if we want to, where instead of being weight distributed based on time, we can do weight distribution based on volume, just number of tickets. That is a setting we can adjust later if we want. I don't recommend doing that during snow, because generally in snow, you're going to a lot of jobs, whereas in the warmer months, you're only going to 2 to 5 tickets. You might be going to 10 or 15 during snow because you're doing the piles on smaller driveways.
You guys still see my screen?
I do. I see Enrique. 11:26. Enrique, it's got Jaime and Luis.
That's the one we just fixed, so. Okay, I will go back in and change this.
How are we doing on materials? Have we had any tickets where we use materials?
Yeah,
Are we having any issues with purchasing, receiving, attaching?
so I actually figured it out on my end, because I was, so when I, hold on a sec. So I was doing like the purchase receipt through here. I haven't, but
Well, you're in new right now. Your drop down says EOM receipts new. Kind of middle of the screen, up just a little bit. There you go. Were you looking at something you've already received and select
yeah,
receipt
so
instead?
I realized that when we go into here, like, let's take this one, for example. This one, in order for it to be like actually put onto the ticket, you have to go here and put receipt.
Correct. Yeah, that's what was it? 2, 3 calls ago, I think.
Yeah.
We had to do that. Where either we received it in full, or in certain cases, if we order something in bulk and we only use a portion of, then we would receive partial, so that the
So,
correct amount is attached to the ticket.
yeah. So for example, let me pull up. So here, I know that there's these items,
Okay.
but so for here, he's charging me 500, right? For this address. Hold on, let me go. But we charge 2,000 and then create purchase receipt. I think I figured it out.
So you can change the price when you create the receipt. So it's estimating a cost based on either what we entered previously or some previous purchase, but materials go up all the time. So
Yeah.
it might have been $500 a year ago, and maybe it's $600 now. Like, you're going to be able to adjust that every single purchase you ever make, because it's very rarely going to be stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Let me hold on. Let me pull this up. So in this instance, so he charged me $500, right, for that.
Okay.
Pull up. Create
Okay.
purchase receipt. Branch prime. Vendor. If it doesn't show up in our vendors, how do we create that? Because I know that it's supposed to like link with QuickBooks, but there's some vendors that I found that are not on Aspire yet.
Correct. Yeah, we can add those in. So we would do that in the administration portion. Let me see. Remember how to do this. It's been a little bit. Estimating. Nope.
Does it show up still?
There it is, vendor. Yeah, okay. Go to the application tab and then lists, and the next row, instead of advanced, over to the right, there's one that says list, LISTS, that one. And on the drop down, select the list just underneath that. See the list, and then select the list with the drop down option. There you go. Scroll all the way down to the end, and there will be one that says vendor. There you go. And you have a blue new button at the top right. So you can then name the vendor, and if there is any accounting ID to link it back to QuickBooks, you can put it there. And once you save it, you'll then have that particular vendor in your drop-down list to be able to use when you're creating purchase. So do we want to create one now?
Yeah, we can do this one.
Okay.
What about this?
What about what? I'm sorry.
Do I need an ID or can I just put the vendor's name?
You don't have to put the ID if you have a specific ID that is linked to that vendor in QuickBooks.
Mhm.
So in the contact record of QuickBooks, it's been a little while since I've been in QuickBooks, but there is an vendor ID in there. You can copy and paste that so that when you're doing your reconciliation, it will kind of attach those two things together. Otherwise, you'll have to manually do it when you're doing your end of month checklist.
Oh,
But you don't have to, is the short answer to your question.
so now I can push save then.
Correct.
Oh,
All right, so now if we try to go create that purchase, you should have that vendor in your drop-down option.
then it's fine.
We might hit save twice or something. We can delete one of them. So there you go. Now we can enter the actual unit price that says 2,000. You said he charged you 500, right? Is that correct?
Yeah. So he charged
Okay.
me 500, not 2,000.
So, right. So click that box that says 2,000. And you can change that to 500. Was there any like tax or shipping, freight, anything like that?
No,
Or
we
is it
took it up
500 even?
at 500.
Okay.
So he put order date but he doesn't give me like an invoice date except for like when he sent it to me. Should I put
I'll probably put the same day that you ordered it.
and then I think that is everything, right? And then now I can push save.
Yep, save, and then we'll have to go back and receive it. So it attaches it to that ticket. So this should attach it. If we go back to the ticket now, you should have that amount in your actual. Yep, now we have that 500 in there. And that's just cost. That's just what we've paid. That's not saying we're going to charge that. You can charge a different amount to the customer, a markup amount. That's just what your cost is.
Oh, they're not gonna.
No, they won't say that.
Oh. Okay, that makes sense.
Feeling good on materials then?
Also, so my other question was like, so when we go here and let's say that hold
Your screen might have froze. I'm not sure.
on. Give me 1 second. Let me look for the
Oh.
address that I had to find.
Sure, no problem.
remember which one it was. Well, so for example, but if I here is this. So on item allocation, I've had it where in instances like I have right here, I don't have or I do have like spruce, or I have items here, and then creating the purchase receipt, I've had it where like I haven't been able to click the items here. So it's been easier for me to create the purchase receipt and then attach it. Is there gonna be an issue if like all the items here weren't checked off on?
So it's only going to pull over on this screen items that were attached to the estimate.
Okay, because there's stuff that also like the guys haven't put on like the items
Mhm.
on here where I've just had to create a new purchase receipt and just attach it to the ticket.
Yeah, if you
Because they
close
haven't
this one dialog box real quick, so we see the full ticket. In that cost section, you're clicking actual, but to the column just to the left of that, it says estimate 0. That means there was nothing attached to the estimate on materials. And so therefore
Okay.
Aspire doesn't know what you're supposed to be using because we never told it. So in those instances, you are going to have to manually do it the way you're talking about, where you create it and then you have to go back and allocate it after the fact. It will only pull over what it believes you're going to use, and the only way for Aspire to know that would be if we have it on the estimate at the beginning. So whoever created the estimate skipped that step, and as a result of skipping that step, it adds 2 steps for you.
Oh, okay. That was it. I think that was my biggest thing.
Gotcha. Well, we got, let's see, about 12 minutes or so left in our time. And if we need to have another one to finish out the visit checklist, we absolutely can. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but on our last conversation, y'all are currently having crews basically enter in notes, visit notes on when they show up to a job, what they did, when they left, so that y'all have some level of record.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
So like on instance, like on here, it shows, so he clocked in and out. If you could see that, he clocked in and out for lunch. So in those instances, if I was just to change it and put 7 to 17 over here and then just do it there, but he's done it just manually himself. So I don't deduct the lunch from these guys because he's already clocked in and out, right? And
Yeah,
also
you either
clocked in and out there again. So he's already
Right.
himself taken out those 30 minutes.
Yeah, so we either A, need to delete the half hour that are in the lunch column or change the time. Because right now he's getting kind of double hit for lunch, right? Like he's clocking out and he's getting hit for lunch on top of it. So one or the other needs to happen so that the work time and everything is, legit and correct.
So then that difference right here says an hour. But since he clocked in and out here,
But if we look, the Grant residence ticket time ended at 14:30 and the next ticket didn't begin until 1500, which is 30 minutes there. And then there's also the time before as well, where the start time is at 7, the end time is at 9. So your times are not perfect in terms of when he started working, ended working, and when he was actually at job sites. So
So,
yeah, any of the difference is going to add in this drive time.
so here
Or
we
if
did
there's a
have
meeting,
safety. meeting. So,
there's a
and
half hour. So now we still have one more half hour, which is that half hour difference between the two job sites.
okay.
Do you see what I'm talking about though? The one
Yeah,
ends
yeah,
at
yeah.
14:30 and okay.
But if I put save, it should update those drive times again.
Yes, it will take that. Right now it's 30 minutes each, and it's gonna put them against those two tickets. And now there's 1.44 total hours of drive time to and from the Grant residence, and 0.56 to and from for Mark Linderman.
That's kind of a lot. Oh, but this was Monday. Okay, now
Yeah, the 25th. Yeah, that would be Monday.
Monday they did in the morning clean out their truck.
Okay.
So that makes that up. I'd say I put here like 8.
So 30 minutes.
8:30. Oh no, what did I do?
So now you're just over because it had added drive time a moment ago, and you just put more time in. So we would need to either adjust the drive time to subtract out that per hour total that you just did.
There we go.
Yep. Now you should be able to save it, and the drive time looks a little bit more even against those two tickets.
One other thing, so when we do stuff like that, I told Maul that we need to figure something out, but I think for now we were just gonna do it under community work.
Okay.
For when they have stuff with the yard, but is there a way for them to clock into this and clock out of it?
Yes. So on the same screen where they have their tickets that they're assigned to,
Mm-hmm.
if they were to look at their crew mobile at the bottom, it's very similar to this. It almost follows the same order. There's an indirect, and they would have the same ticket view that you have. So they would see community work, meetings, and shop time are the three that y'all have created currently. And they would be able to start time and end time on those tickets the same way they would a customer ticket.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
And if we need to create additional indirect things for any reason, we can.
I think those two should be fine.
Okay. But yeah, they will be able to do that. Like theoretically, assuming they have cellular reception, they should be able to do everything that you see and are able to do on this screen. They should be able to clock in and out, start time, end time on every ticket, both direct and indirect. They should be able to attach materials. All their crew members should be able to be clocked in and out. Like they should be able to do everything on here with the exception of technology is not working right now. And if for some reason they're not able to do that, then that means we need to take a look at that one individual's permission level.
Gotcha. Okay.
But more than likely, they should be able to do all of this. If that isn't true, or they don't see the tickets or something, if you can have them maybe take a picture of it,
Okay.
or show you and you take a picture of it somehow, so I can see a visual and then I can figure it out. But it should be there. I've seen it on virtually every other person I've ever looked at. So
Okay.
so we're running up on time.
Okay.
And the visit checklist thing will take us a little bit of time to set up the templates, create the questions and or the directions that we're wanting to give each of the crews, and then show you how to actually attach those to tickets, both past, present, and future. I mean, we're probably going to need low end 30 minutes, high end an hour to really go through that concept from beginning to end. So I think we probably need another call together to be able to accomplish that.
Okay.
What does y'all's schedule look like next week?
Um. Let me check real quick. Um, I can do on Tuesday after
Tuesday.
our like 11.
Can you do 12 instead?
Yeah,
Does
that's
that
fine.
work? Okay.
Actually 12 won't work for me. Can we, and then Wednesday I can't do 12 either. Sorry.
I can do a
Can we
little
do
bit
one?
later, like 1:32. If
Let's
that works.
let's do 2.
2 o'clock on Tuesday?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send you an invite for Tuesday at 2. I really don't want to do my soapbox thing again, but I cannot stress this enough. We got to get your crews clocking in and out, or y'all are gonna hate Aspire forever because it's just gonna always be an extra thing for you to do. And we already saw with the materials, when one person skips a step, it creates multiple steps for someone else. And
Yeah.
that's virtually true for everything in Aspire. If one person skips it, you pretty much have to undo it and then redo it. So it's creating 2 steps for
Yeah.
someone else down the road. And the only way to kind of correct that is at a behavior level. And it all starts with the crews. Like they are 80% or so of the input information that goes into Aspire comes from the crews. Like, so if
Yeah.
80% is wrong, you're fixing 80% every day of Aspire, and you'll
Yeah.
never, it's unsustainable. True. Even at y'all's current business operations, like it's kind of pretty close, if not already unsustainable. As we get busier and think to next year when we're in the busy season, it's going to be impossible. Like you're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah. No, that's true. Okay.
Cool. Evan, did you have anything you wanted to add before we wrap, sir?
No, the only thing is, Hazel, I shot you a message. If you could do me a favor, I would like for you to track how much time you spend fixing people's clock in and clock outs and the clocking. In a perfect world, that could be a very easy metric of us seeing progress, is how much time you're spend fixing.
Yep.
And so I would like to provide that to Daniel. Obviously, he's not here, but being able to really quantify that here's how much time your operation is spending fixing something that could easily be addressed on the crew level. And then we can, frankly, what I'm going to do is then basically provide a numerical amount of taking your guys' salaries and how much you guys make and applying the error rate of how much money you guys are wasting.
Okay, we'll do that, Evan.
Cool. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Evan.
Okay.
Thanks
You're
everyone.
welcome. Y'all have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Guys.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.